Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Coming up this week, there's a new dating site just for Disney fans. D23 announces their plans for 2016, and we're going to have the top 10 trip planning threads from disboards.com. And a little later on, the team is going to discuss their favorite moments from the show for 2016, or 2015, excuse me. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 863 for the week of December 8th, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hello.
Jackie Gailey.
Hello.
Julie Martin.
Merry Christmas.
And back in the production nook, our associate producer, Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Along with our intern, Steve Porter.
Hello.
And our producer, Craig Williams.
Hi, everyone.
So welcome to the last live show of 2015. Starting next week, we are on hiatus until January 5th, when we'll have our next live show. But do not despair. We have some things going up for you in the interim. For the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some pre-recorded shows, and then I have something a little special for you that I will discuss at the end of this show that you can expect before the end of the year. So you will not be without your fix to some degree for the next few weeks, but we are definitely taking our little hiatus.
You know, the first show, that's Ferris's 7th birthday.
Is it really?
7.
Wow.
Yes.
Hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
Hard to believe. So many of you have been asking me about the plans for our 10th anniversary celebration coming up next July. We are still working on the details, but I will tell you this. That celebration will take place the weekend of July 22nd to the 26th. It's a Friday through a Tuesday, with July 21st, July 25th being the 10th anniversary show that we're going to be doing live. So I know a lot of you are trying to make plans and things like that. Go ahead and make your plans. I don't have details as to where things are going to be held yet. We're still working that out, but it is going to happen, and it is going to happen that weekend, July 22nd through the 26th. And hopefully early in January, we will have more details. But it is going to be that weekend. You're not going to want to miss it. We're planning some really cool things, but I have nothing to announce yet in terms of details. But those are the dates, July 22nd through the 26th. That's a Friday through a Tuesday, 2016. And on July 25th is the actual 10-year anniversary of our show. We will be doing a special live show that day. So I just wanted to make sure we got that out there. A lot of people have been asking me about it. So I wanted to put that out there. I also want to say a special thank you to all of you who joined us Saturday night at Diagon Alley at Universal Studios for this year's Disapalooza party. It was quite the event.
I thought it was great.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was overwhelming. It was the best attended one of these we've had. We had well over 900 people.
You want to know the final number?
What was the final number?
927.
927 people attended.
So much fun.
Our party on Saturday. It was great. I don't assume we have anything ready from that overview video, right? No. Okay. Would have shown you something, but Craig was busy doing other things.
Yes, I was talking to people in a line for an hour and a half. Everyone was lovely, though.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. And I know everybody that I talked to had a spectacular time.
Everybody was very nice, very, very generous. A lot of compliments, not only for the party that evening, but for our shows and for everything we do. So it was, if you ever feel down about yourself, think about back to that night and how generous and nice people are. So
No,
it
absolutely.
was a great, great night.
Absolutely. And I also want to thank everybody who sent the overwhelming number of birthday wishes I received on Sunday. Just in email and private message, I had over 200 birthday wishes, not to mention what was on my Facebook page. You know, if you ever feel down about yourself, you think about that. That, you know, just getting that much goodwill on your birthday is just incredible, and I'm very grateful for it. And I just wanted to say thank you. And the folks who sent gifts and things like that, I really appreciate that. I'm writing out my little thank you notes now. Anything else for housekeeping? Anything that we need to talk about?
If you're anxious to join us for an event, next December will be Podcast Cruise 6.0. We still have space available on that cruise. We're still taking reservations. We are working on some cool stuff for that cruise as well.
You think a year away actually scratches the itch for anxious?
Well, some people want to be involved and want to start planning something, so that might be something they can plan. But we have something really cool we know is already on the books. We're going to be doing our live show from the Aqua Theater on the back of that ship, and that is the whole back of the ship.
It's incredible.
That's where they do the water show, where people dive in from high boards and people rise up
John,
out of
Kevin,
the
and I
water.
will be doing our Esther
We will.
Williams.
We're going to have our Speedos on. It's going to be
All
excellent.
those
Synchronized
sparklers around
swimming.
our head.
Coming up out of the water.
Peter might think it's an orca show and might petition, but we're not really quite sure what's going to happen. But we're really excited about that. It's a great theater. It's outside, so other people can enjoy it. There's going to be big screens up, so that's really cool. We have that one thing locked in.
Awesome. Anything else for housekeeping?
Sorry, Kevin.
I don't.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the other shows.
Okay, that's what I was
Sorry.
asking.
Sorry,
No.
I just skipped right over that on my script. Sorry. Of course, we want you to tune in to the other shows we produce every week, every Sunday night, live on Mixlr.com. That's Mixlr.com, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. The Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged goes up on Mondays and Tuesdays on iTunes. What's the matter with me? I can't talk today. On this week's Disneyland edition, Tom reviews the Anaheim Majestic Garden Hotel, and Mary Jo talks about this year's holiday tour at Disneyland. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, DizUnplugged.com, The Trip with Jenny Lynn Knopp and Teresa Eccles. And Craig, what is on this week's show?
Travel horror stories.
Oh, I wasn't sure where that was
Me
going.
either.
Travel horror stories. Okay.
I think.
I'm not covering the expenses for that one.
Yeah.
It goes above and beyond.
And I think this might be a good time to mention that the trip will be undergoing a slight change in the beginning of the year. They're going to be adding another person to the table. Our very own Jackie Gailey will be joining Teresa and Jenny Lynn on the trip.
Excited.
Yay.
Yay. It's going to be very fun.
And of course, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, DizUnplugged.com, the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged with Craig Williams, Rhino Clavin, Jenny Lynn Knopp, and next year more so, Steve Porter will be joining them. And so what are you working on this week, Craig?
We are.
He has no idea.
Doesn't horror stories.
Universal horror.
Yes, Universal Horrors. Horror stories. We are doing our
Holidays.
yearly recap as well as going over our coverage from the holidays that Rhino and I attended.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's the final slate of shows for 2015. And all the shows return the week of January 4th, including another new show.
We do. I was going to be in my rapid fire, but
Oh,
can we do it now?
you can.
Very excited to announce that beginning January 4th, we have a new show coming up. It's going to be a Dreams Unlimited travel podcast. We're going to focus on helping you with planning vacations, tips and tricks, and things that are beyond the Disney parks. We'll still have Disney information there, but we're going to bring you information from all of our travels. So look for us beginning January 4th, Mondays in January.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just a few notes on that for anyone who will be looking for whenever it comes out. In terms of audio, the first episode we are also going to feature on our Diz Unplugged feed, but we are going to have a brand new audio feed going out on iTunes for that. So you'll want to subscribe to that once it's available, so that way you can always watch it. And as well as other surprises coming up with YouTube. So you might see a new Dreams Unlimited Travel YouTube channel coming. And for anyone out there who hasn't subscribed to the Diz or the Diz Unplugged YouTube pages, please go ahead and do that. So you're staying up to date on all of our videos coming out.
All right. Now, as I mentioned last week, we are going to be doing a special fundraiser December 22nd for Give Kids the World, sponsored by Dreams Unlimited Travel. We are getting a special exclusive screening of Star Wars The Force Awakens, December 22nd, 10 a.m. at the Regal Cinemas at Point Orlando on International Drive. And we are, it's $35 per person, $35 donation per person if you'd like to see the movie with us. And for $150, you can have lunch with the team. Now, we've already gotten some signups. We have some seats still available. Signups for the lunch are going very quickly.
Yes, only a few spots left for the lunch.
Yeah. So, but I do want to send out some very special thank yous to a few of our listeners who have been very generous. I had mentioned last week that I was going to match $2,500 of what's raised. And then our good friend Scott Ponticus from Dallas, Scotty P. And if you're in the Dallas area and you know Scotty P's hamburger restaurants, same Scotty P. And he has generously agreed to match my $2,500. And then meeting with one of our listeners and good friend, Kevin McGrory at Disapalooza on Saturday night, he stepped up and has donated $2,500
Wow.
Awesome.
for Give Kids the World. And then I get a note from Mike Dobrovolsky, always really generous. He's agreed to match $500. So I'm really excited. So, that's great. We're going to raise a lot of money for Give Kids the World. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. I don't care about how many people are in the theater. I care about how much money we get to give Kids the World. 100% of all money raised, not proceeds, all money raised goes directly to Give Kids the World.
At our party the other night, a lady brought, I apologize, I didn't bring her name with me. She brought me 28 pillowcases, Mickey pillowcases that she made for Give Kids.
Is it Lynn Schwartz?
The name's on the card, and I apologize. I don't remember
bring
what the
it.
name said, but there are 28 Disney pillowcases. I apologize that I
She
don't.
made herself. That's
Yes.
really awesome.
They're beautiful too. I can't wait to take them. So they're really
You mean
nice.
for yourself
Awesome.
or to give kids the world?
No, I don't mean I can't wait to take them for myself. I have pillowcases. I can't wait to take them to give kids. You're evil.
So I am putting out a call to those of you that cannot join us on the 22nd. Since some very generous listeners have stepped up, I am putting out a call to other generous listeners. If you would like to participate by donating some money to a good cause, reach out to me, Pete at wdwinfo.com. Let me know, and we will get you included in the list of generous listeners that are helping raise money right before Christmas for a cause near and dear to my heart and the hearts of many of you. They do great, great work. If you're not familiar with Give Kids the World, get familiar with them. GKTW.org, givekidstheworld.org. Tells you everything you need to know about this organization. The best run charity in the United States. Only 6 cents of every dollar raised goes to administrative costs. 94% of the money raised goes directly to the mission. You don't see that. It's one of the reasons I love raising money for this organization. You can go to their website and you can see the stories about the impact these people have on the lives of these children and and their families that visit, and what kind of work they do and what kind of difference they make. And for every $5,000 that we raise, we're able to send one family to Give Kids the World. So I'd be really happy if we could send 2 or 3 families to Give Kids the World for Christmas. That would be awesome. So we'll have links to where you can sign up for the movie and where you can contact us if you would like to donate. DizUnplugged.com. Just check out our show notes. And it'll also be on the Diz Unplugged Facebook page, facebook.com/DizUnplugged. So please help us out. Help us make let's end the year on a really, really, really strong note. I want to see how many generous people we have out there that are willing to step up and donate some money, and let's just blow this out. Let's blow this out. So, anything else? Anything else for housekeeping? All right. Then with that, we'll move over to Johnny with the news.
All right. Our first news story, a new dating site for Disney fans. A new dating website for Disney fans, mousemingle.com, is the brainchild of Dave Tavris, who says the regular dating websites have no way to narrow the searches to gauge the level of interest in Disney. The site launched last week and already has thousands of user profiles uploaded. Tavris says he registered the domain name back in 2011, but only began building the site earlier this year. A profile can be created for free by filling out a questionnaire, which includes questions about your age, appearance, and lifestyle, as well as Disney questions. Some of these are: what's your favorite Disney song, favorite Marvel franchise, which park do you call home, what type of annual pass do you have, etc. To contact another site user, there's a monthly fee of $12.55. The 55 is a significant number to Disney fans, as Disneyland opened to the public in 1955. Of the price, Tavris says, quote, "I wanted the number to be low enough that people would not be scared. No barrier to entry. But at the same time, I want this to be a service that people take seriously and don't create a bunch of fake profiles." He said, quote, "Disney fans are literally all over the world. That's my hope. Is that this is not just a theme park-centric site. This is for the people who live in the middle of nowhere or in the Midwest, or people who don't live near a park in the rest of the world. But they will still love Disney or something about Disney, and they want to connect with other people who love it too." Tavris is a former Disneyland cast member, having worked at the park's Autopia attraction as a tour guide and as a train engineer.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's a great idea. And just to kind of see what it was about, I did sign up. I did. And, you know, it really does ask a lot of pertinent questions about, you know, aimed at a Disney fan. And I think he's absolutely right that, you know, there isn't really anything out there for single Disney fans to meet somebody, and the importance, I know for me, the importance of having that connection with somebody, that shared passion is really, really important, because I hear the stories all the time that, one spouse is really into Disney, the other one isn't. And sometimes that can cause real consternation. Mm-hmm. But when both spouses are equally, or both partners are equally invested in that passion, I think it really makes the relationship better.
For sure. Why shouldn't Disney fans have their own dating site?
Right.
I mean, farmersonly.com. Come on.
There you go.
I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said they've met on the Diz boards.
Oh, yeah.
Either through the singles board or just out there hanging out on the boards in general, and said they've connected with somebody else. One of our good listeners at the party came up and said, "I have to thank you because I met my current girlfriend on the site." So I think it's a really cool idea.
Had a lot of weddings and births and stuff like that from people that met on the boards. Yeah.
I'm surprised they have the logo that they have without Disney barking down their neck.
I was just thinking the same thing.
It's
How
the
long?
broken spot.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
why
an
it's
official Disney. Mickey
How long
Mouse.
do you think he's going to get to keep that?
Yeah, we will see what happens. If he gets big enough, Disney might make him change that. But he was smart, and Mouse Mingle is not have the word Disney in it,
Right.
which is something they usually go after. But, I think it's great that there's also people out there who are looking for that niche of what they can do in the Disney community and sort of be an entrepreneur as well.
I hope they start having commercials. Sorry.
That would be so
I love cute little jingles.
And I just want to throw this out there. Brian Soka just sent me an email, $500 for Give Kids the World.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian.
That's like Jerry Lewis's telethon.
I am
Get a
not.
tote board.
No shame.
Oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot to mention Freeform Friday this Friday. We're doing a Freeform Friday this Friday. So that will technically be my last show of the year in terms of a live show. So I kind of lied to you before when I said this was our last live show. It's not.
Now I can't believe
It's my last live show.
That's it.
Yes.
Now I can't
I'm doing
believe anything
Freeform New
you
York.
said.
Pete was just kidding. He
Yes.
said that.
So, but yeah, I think mousemingle.com is a great idea. I think it's probably going to go through some growing in terms of, its functionality. I think its functionality works really good. But check it out if you're single Disney fan.
Now, when you signed up for it, is there a thing for I just want to be friends?
Yes, yeah. You can. It asks you if you want a park pal, friends, dating, marriage. I just put park pal and friends.
Marriage.
Is there like a Tinder option?
Is it swipe
not
left,
that I
swipe
saw.
right?
Not that I saw. But it seems like there's a lot of people. There's a lot of signups. There's a lot of signups on there. So.
I saw it was on SNL actually. They
lampooned it on.
They kind
the
of
news,
attacked it on SNL.
On Saturday Night Live?
Yeah,
They didn't really. They made fun of it.
they made fun of it. Yeah.
Attacked it. Yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
harsh.
That's harsh to say.
No, it's been getting great press. This guy's been doing an amazing job getting the word out about this because it's been showing up on television news and newspapers, things like that. I've been seeing it all over the place.
I'm sure he loved that it was on SNL.
Oh, sure. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
So, I mean, yeah, that's huge. So, no, I mean, he's obviously really good at marketing this. So, hats off to him. Hats off to him. Like I said, I just wanted to see what it was about. I'm not really interested in dating, but I wanted to see what it was about.
Cool.
So,
All right, our second news story. D23 announces their 2016 schedule of events. D23, the official Disney fan club, has released much of its 2016 event schedule, including events in California, Florida, and around the country. In 2016, D23 will offer special screenings of several classic Disney films, including Alice in Wonderland, Finding Nemo, and Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Screenings will be held on both coasts. In addition, a special 75th anniversary screening of The Reluctant Dragon will be held on the Walt Disney Studios lot in Burbank. D23 is also continuing its lunch with a Disney legend, beginning with an event at the Walt Disney World Resort featuring Charlie Ridgway. Special holiday events on both coasts, plus food and wine related events at Walt Disney World, are also on the schedule. Across the country, fans should look for advanced screenings of upcoming releases from the Walt Disney Studios, mixers at local Disney stores, and celebrations related to the 25th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast. More information on dates and tickets will be announced throughout the year, but there's some stuff out there. A lot of it's TBA. They haven't really narrowed down a lot of their stuff, but March 18th is the lunch with a Disney legend, Charlie Ridgway, here at the Walt Disney World Resort. April 9th is D23 Day at the Walt Disney Studios and Archives in Burbank, California. Those are always cool events because they usually open up the store for D23 members. What else have they got going on? July 18th, D23 Behind the Scenes Experience in Burbank, California. And in the fall, no specific date, D23 Disney Faniversary Celebration, Beauty and the Beast. And that's something that a lot of folks seem to be looking forward to, is the Faniversary celebration.
I'm glad they're doing a few more things out in Orlando, but it still seems like all the cool stuff is out in Burbank. But at least it sounds like they're starting to listen to the feedback they've been getting from, I don't know, the beginning, that there are Disney fans outside of Southern California. This was a huge shock to the rocket scientists at D23, because for so long, anything of merit, anything of importance has been going on out in Burbank. They've started doing some more things out here. It looks like they're expanding on that, but it really has taken them how many years now to figure out that, oh, wait, there are people who like Disney that don't live in Southern California, and if we want to interest them, maybe we need to do more. So they're doing these kind of half-assed road trips to, Salt Lake City, so they can say they did something in the West? I mean, outside, I don't know. But, it's progress, not perfection. So good on you. But
As long as we use the word Disney legend, Dick Van Dyke turned 90 this week. Happy birthday, DVD. And one of our listeners who lives in Switzerland, Cheryl Pavia, says that Mouse Mingle made the German news.
Wow.
So a little world perspective.
Really?
And
Like the BBC.
I want to say thank you to Richard Bunt who just is not only attending, he bought a seat at the movie for our lunch for $150, but just also told me he's going to donate an additional $500. So just in the last 10 minutes, we raised another $1,000 for Good
Wow.
Kids.
Telling you, we need a tote board.
We do. You can be the Ed McMahon to my
Hippity!
to my Jerry Lewis.
All right, our third and final news story. Dick Van Dyke to host Mary Poppins broadcast. Dick Van Dyke, who starred opposite Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews. That's the Greek actress.
The robot version.
In the 1964 Disney classic Mary Poppins, will host a rebroadcast of the film on Saturday, December 12th, as part of ABC's The Wonderful World of Disney. The film will be presented from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., and Van Dyke will introduce the film, give his insights about making of the film, and share some props from the Walt Disney Archives. Target is a sponsor of the broadcast, and their mascot Bullseye will appear with Van Dyke. Mary Poppins last appeared on broadcast
That's where all the
television.
dignity leaked out of the room.
There we go. Mary Poppins last appeared on broadcast television 13 years ago. I think it's cool that he's going to be showing props and stuff.
No,
from the
absolutely.
archives. It's going to be
Anything
neat.
that brings Dick Van Dyke to TV is cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Agreed.
Very cool. All right. That'll do it for the news.
All right. Thank you, John. Let's go ahead and move on to Rapid Fire. And one last time this year, John.
All right. I was going to do the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast, but Pete's already talked about that. We're very excited about it. Is that the right date? I thought it was going to be July 4th.
January.
Yeah,
January 4th, I mean.
I think January 3rd is Sunday,
Oops.
so that's, yeah.
That was my
Day
bad on
early.
that typo.
That's all right. So I just said it was the wrong day anyway. So beginning next year, a weekly podcast, Dreams Unlimited Travel. Kevin and I are going to talk about our travels, and other folks are going to join us from the company, and hopefully you'll find that entertaining. My second rapid fire is something I didn't tell Craig, so he doesn't have a slide for. We just found out this past week that if you're booking a Disney Cruise Line reservation while on board the ship, they're increasing their deposit from $200 to $250 per reservation. So expect to pay more for an onboard booking on Disney Cruise Line. I do not believe this is the end of the price increases or the deposit increases. I think this is going to keep going up and up and up until they've found the price at which no one
Until
will
they've
pay
alienated everyone.
it. Right. Until it comes to a point where no one does it, and then they might stop. Ta-da! 2 rapid fires in 2 seconds.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Carly Stenger, for another $500 for our Give Kids the World event. So we've raised $1,500 in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So awesome. Kevin.
All right, I have two too.
Go 4.
For
I just
Tanner.
wanted to say that. Two just for Tanner.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
The Mickey's Merry Christmas Party is sold out on December 8th, December 11th, and December 18th. I would assume it's going to sell out on December 24th very soon. I can't imagine there's many of those tickets left, but I don't know that for a fact. But that's via Kathy Whirling. Thank you, Kathy. There was one rapid fire down. That was fast, right? The next one is Adventures by Disney, to sort of tack on to Jen's Disney Cruise Line announcement. Adventures by Disney has changed their deposit policy. Instead of $300 per person, the deposit is now 10% of the adventure fare. And you now have to pay 120 days in advance instead of 90 days in advance.
Pay in full.
Pay in full. Payment in full is due 120 days beforehand. Again, trying to alienate everyone.
This is a very disappointing policy change. This has gone from $300 a person to now thousands of dollars per person, depending on the adventure you take. So it's kind of disturbing.
And it's still non-refundable 14 days after you make your deposit.
That's a lot of money for people to commit
Yeah.
that
That
early
is.
on.
I have a feeling this is going to kill the bookings that happen a year or a year and a half in
Yeah.
advance.
So, all right. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Scott McDonald, for a $50 donation to Give Kids the World. I'm loving this.
This is
I am
awesome.
loving
Is
this.
this a telethon right now?
It is.
That's like Jerry Lewis.
It is. Whatever it's going to take. I don't care. I will sit here and do a telethon. We should do that at some point.
That's what you should do on Friday. We could turn it into a telethon.
I called Dean Martin.
Yes. Crap.
Sorry.
I want to smoke and drink the whole time.
I do. I smoke and drink and stumble. That'd be great.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Jackie, what do you got?
So the Symphony and the Stars, a Galactic spectacular dessert party at Disney's Hollywood Studios was just announced. And this is a really cool party at Hollywood Studios where you can watch the fireworks from a reserved viewing area. And they're going to have themed desserts and drinks plus a souvenir stein for everyone. The pricing on it is $69 for ages 10 and over and $39 for children ages 3 to 9. And I feel like that's such a pricey dessert party.
I think that's about what they're charging these days, and people are paying. So
They are. I haven't actually gone to one of the dessert parties at Hollywood Studios, but I have to tell you, I saw the Frozen fireworks from there, and it's really neat to see fireworks in Hollywood Studios. So this party is going to have really cool themed desserts and really fun alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. They're also, let's see here, the steins that you can take with you that everyone gets are going to be themed after Star Wars characters, Chewbacca. And so that's who they're going to have first, and I think that'll be really cool. So the force is strong with this one.
Aww.
Good
Me
one,
and Kevin are
Jackie.
both about to vomit everywhere.
I was just going to say, I just threw up a little in my mouth.
Did you?
But-
Sorry.
It's hard to find Star Wars themed stuff these days.
really, what a souvenir.
How will you ever
I
survive?
bought Star Wars
Indeed.
themed Cheez-Its the other day.
They even have macaroni and cheese.
They do.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Jackie.
You bet.
Julie.
Okay. Countdown to Midnight is happening at Disney's Yacht and Beach Club this December 31st. It's going to have 3 different themed party experiences, so that way the guests can choose how they wish to ring in the new year. There'll be an interactive comedy reunion at the Adventurers Club, a 9-piece dance band at Club Live, and a 7-piece band playing classic music at Club Vinyl. Buffet action stations and desserts are going to be available. As you count down to midnight, balloons are going to drop, and you can toast the new year with your keepsake champagne glasses. And let me tell you,
Chewbacca.
because once you hear the price, there better be lots more keepsakes, okay? It will be held at the Yacht and Beach Club Convention Center. It begins at 8 p.m. This is only available to guests who are actually staying at Walt Disney World. And it will be $300 per guest. Tax and gratuities included, so that's good, I guess. Beer, wine, mixed drinks, champagne toast, and food. And don't forget your souvenir champagne glasses, which will probably be plastic, so just warning you. Call 407-WDW-DINE to make reservations. And then Disney Springs is going to have DJ dance parties and live entertainment in all 3 districts, plus food and beverage offerings with food trucks around. Of course, cocktails, beer, and wine will be available. And Cirque du Soleil will have a 6 p.m. and a 9 p.m. performance that night. I didn't really want to talk about, different restaurants and stuff. I just wanted to talk about the bigger events that were happening for New Year's.
I got to tell you, that one at the Yacht Club, for the fact that it's in the convention center, is kind of lame.
Right?
For that much money, you should have special fireworks.
Have it
viewing.
I
on
know.
the beach or
Right.
something.
Right,
I
yeah,
mean,
make
You're
it
gonna be
really
locked
exciting.
locked in a conference room.
Right, where you can't see anything.
Crazy.
All right. Thank you, Julie. And thank you, Brian Torpy, for another $100 donation for Give Kids the World. Awesome. Rhino, what you got?
Mine's not overly exciting today, so
Oh,
Enchanted Tales with Belle is no longer a part of Extra Magic Hours. I'm done.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't have anything to say about it. I think it's effective immediately. It says on the website it's no longer offered, so.
Does Belle
However,
not like being available after hours?
really.
She's got stuff. She's got to attend to the beast. So,
However, it's one more thing they take away from Extra Magic Hours.
yep.
One more thing you can't do.
It's a cool show, too. I mean, I saw
Yeah,
that recently for the first time because my niece loves Belle.
Blame it on the niche.
Sure.
And, you know,
Were you wearing your Belle outfit?
you got to get a kid to go in with you, otherwise it starts to get creepy. So, but it was a good show. So it's a little sad because the Extra Magic Hours, you know, you always get the lessened weight, but what are you gonna do?
All right. Thank you, Rhino. Steven.
Sunday night at Candlelight Processional, Walt Disney World Resort announced that they made a gift of $500,000 to help homeless families in Central Florida. The money will go to the Homeless Impact Fund established by the Central Florida Commission on Homelessness. So it's pretty cool in the Christmas spirit, and It's exciting.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Sure.
It sounds.
We
wonderful.
have a guy. I don't mean to hijack this, but we have a guy who panhandles at a corner near our house where we travel, and he had gone. I saw him go into Walmart and buy a stocking, so people could put their donations to him as he walked up and down the street in the stocking. And I thought, there's an entrepreneur. Someone who's investing capital in his business.
Well,
John
I'll tell you,
said
some of them
capital
make
invest-
a lot of money.
John said capital investments for 3 miles and made himself laugh
I
every
laughed
time
for
he said
very
it.
well.
There was a gentleman who used to
So
write
proud of him.
for the Orlando
see him.
Sentinel. At the end of in the Orlando Sentinel Sunday section, there's like a magazine. In this Sunday Orlando edition, there's a magazine, and I forget the man's name, but he used to write the last page.
Okay.
And he did a thing where he stood at the corner of
Scott Thomas?
I don't remember. He stood at the corner of Orange Blossom Trail and Route 50 and had pre-printed tickets in his pocket. He wore his rattiest old clothes, and if you gave him money, he gave you a ticket that said, "You've just made a donation to Mustard Seed." Mustard Seed is a
Oh, yeah.
local organization that helps everyone. But he raised $5,000 in one day
Wow.
just by standing there for 8 hours.
He didn't have a sign. He didn't ask
Didn't have
for
a sign.
money. People just gave
stood there
him
and
$5,000.
and then once you gave him money, he gave you the ticket that said you made a donation to Mustard Seed.
That's cool. Hey, maybe we should do that for Give Kids the World.
Maybe we can put these guys out on corners with,
Yeah.
Santa bags.
Yep.
Look at Rhino. He looks excited.
It's my holiday plans already. So
All right. Thank you, Steve. Craig.
Okay, so the Walt Disney Archives restored Walt Disney's office suite as
This is
a
cool.
permanent exhibit space now at the Walt Disney Studios. So this, I just believe that it debuted yesterday in a big ceremony with Bob Iger, members of the Disney family as well. But yeah, basically they're now setting it up for anyone who is a guest on the studio or Disney employees, cast members. Anyone can come in there, I guess, during the the tours that they have, and they can actually see this restored Walt Disney
My
office
guess is
suite
you
in
will
there.
see it during your backstage magic.
I'm really hoping that they let us.
And I also want credit for this. Kevin and I have been talking about this for years.
The
Since
first time we did a backstage magic, we went through the Disney Animation Building, and they said, "This is where Walt Disney's office was." I said, "Is it still there?" And they said, "No, someone else has his
Sean
office."
Cassidy had it.
Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe's brother.
At first, it was
time.
Sean Cassidy.
I remember it being Chad Lowe, but that's beside the point.
Is it
Chad
evil?
Lowe's like the least of the lows.
Is it lowest of the lowest?
You missed that joke.
So misleading.
You walked right around that.
Sorry, wasn't even thinking that. I
Doesn't
was
matter who
thinking-
it was. It wasn't Walt Disney's office. And I remember throwing a mini fit. And it was like, you're kidding, right? Why is Walt Disney's office not left intact? Why wasn't it sealed off? Why isn't there plexiglass on the door?
So people can visit it. We would say it every trip.
Now, but this isn't in the space that was his office, right? This is just in a spot in the archives.
Oh, no, I believe this is his office.
What does the story say, Craig?
I don't know, but I'm not sure.
This does not. Hold on, just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
All right, well, that'll do it for Roundtable Rapid Fire. We're going to move on to Ms. Gailey and the top 10 trip planning threads on disboards.com for the month of November. What do you have, Jackie?
Yes. So I've got a great handful of threads this month that are really fun trip planning threads. So for number 10, I wanted to tell you guys about the Disney Cruise Meets subforum. This is where if you are looking to do fish extenders for your Disney cruise, this is where everyone goes to find other cruisers on their same ship. And we have our poster, Irish Cowboy, has been putting in the links to all of the cruise line meets that you guys start. And what he does is he keeps track of the 4 Disney ships, and you find your date on the first page of each one of his threads, depending on which ship you're going on. And what you do is you just find your date that you're sailing and you click on the link that he's got right underneath there, and you can interact with other cruisers. Now, if you don't see a link there yet, that means the thread hasn't been started yet. So you can start a thread if you want to. And or you can ask questions if you aren't sure that you want to start the thread. We're going to be starting those 2017 cruise threads here real soon because we're almost at the end of the year. So be on the lookout for those. And you can find those right under the main Disney Cruise Line forums under Disney Cruise Meets. Number 9, we've got a great thread going on about the Wilderness Lodge DVC expansion details. So those that thread is really got some good information for all of you Wilderness Lodge lovers. Now, Wilderness Lodge is one of my favorites because it reminds me of home in Seattle. And it kind of
is. I got to tell you, I think it's my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's my favorite after staying there at the last 7 and 7 that we did. I just fell in love with it.
It's beautiful.
Fell in love. I've never been a big fan of the rooms at the Wilderness Lodge, the hotel rooms, but the DVC blows it out of the water.
Yeah,
just as incredible.
I love it. I really do too. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's really beautiful, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this expansion. I mean, it's the bungalows at the Polynesian are beautiful. So, I mean, I can't help but think that these are going to be just gorgeous too. I can't wait for that. I think it's a neat view, and just pretty relaxing. And I know that my family likes to go to Trails End and have breakfast a lot, and it's fun to ride the boat back and look at the other side of the Wilderness Lodge because it's not one that everybody really sees.
Exactly.
So it's neat. Number 8 is a thread on the Skipper Canteen Jungle Cruise themed restaurant. We've got lots of folks that are doing updates and on ADR watch. I'm going to tell you guys right now that if you are waiting for an advanced dining reservation to open up for a new restaurant, the restaurant boards is the place to be because you can bet your life that the minute it goes available, somebody's going to be posting on here. So that thread has been hopping the last couple days because everybody's expecting it to go live here. Reservations for that one. Any
idea when when it's going to open up for ADRs?
Well, I haven't heard anything at all on when it's going to open up, but everybody's buzzing about it, and people are calling Disney Dining, and they don't have any information yet. It
has to be soon because the Disney
supposed to
Parks
open.
Yeah, it's supposed to open by the end of the year, so they got to do it soon.
Yeah, really.
They're currently doing cast member previews right now, so I'm guessing in the next week or 2.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, so it's people keep calling dining like a couple times a day. A poster will say, "Oh, I just got off the phone with Disney Dining and there's no information available yet." So they are on it. Now, we're going to have links to all these threads that I'm talking about in the show notes today, so don't worry that I'm not giving you the URLs. Number 7 is a really cool thread that you might think that you're the only one that gets anxious when you're going to Disney, but there is a thread called Touring the Parks with Anxiety Disorder, and that is over on our, let's see here. Give me just a second here. That is over on our disabilities board. And it's a really good one because you'd be really surprised at how people get anxiety when they're going to Disney. You're
Trust me, I would not be surprised by that.
Yeah, I kind of was
every
at first.
day.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when we used to fly in from Seattle, I used to have big time anxiety.
Well,
the day before
I just
we
want
left.
to. I just want to interrupt for a second and make sure that I point out to people there's a difference between being anxious and having panic anxiety disorder. That is a clinical issue that can be very, very serious and requires medication. It requires monitoring by a doctor. So there's a big difference between I'm anxious when I travel and having a diagnosed anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear when we're not being insensitive when we just talk about, I get anxious too.
Yeah.
Because that would drive me, when I was dealing with depression and people would say, I understand, I get depressed sometimes. I'm like, no, this is not, I'm having a bad day. this is a clinical issue. So making sure that I just want to make sure we're sensitive to the difference between,
Yeah.
generalized anxiety that you have dealing with life, which is very real and very important to deal with, but also in terms of an anxiety disorder, which is a clinical condition.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, definitely is. So folks in here are talking about, make sure that you don't switch your medication right before you get to the parks. And one of our posters really went into a lot of detail about how her medication was switched right before they arrived, and it wasn't a good idea. And she kind of talked a
Yeah,
little
you
about
don't
that.
want to be dealing with side effects from a new medication when you're starting your vacation. No.
No, she lost a couple of days of her trip, and
Sure.
it was, it's not good. And I really like this thread because people are really talking about what they go through and, whether it's day to day or just the traveling anxiety. So it's really good. Hop on there if you want to just kind of read and see what other people are dealing with. Number 6 is really close to my heart. It's about Disney Pandora charms information. There's pictures and pricing. Now, I love my Pandora bracelet. So I love looking at all the new stuff that's coming on. And I'm one of those that likes subtle hints of Disney. I don't like a Disney explosion of jewelry and everything, but I like just little subtle things here and there. So this thread is really cool because whenever there's a new group of charms coming out, somebody's going to post in here and you're going to know on the first page, and they're big pictures. So you can really see what's going on with those Pandora charms. It's really fun. And I love that at the Uptown Jeweler on Main Street that they have that whole new section in the store where they have all those Pandoras, and they've got necklaces and everything you could ever imagine. It's even better than the Pandora store at the mall. Love it. Love it a lot, actually. So visit that thread. It's a good one. Number 5, updated Star Wars weekend canceled. Official Star Wars launch bay and Symphony in the Stars thread. This is your go-to thread if you want any and all information on the new upcoming Star Wars things that are coming to Hollywood Studios. Great thread. Lots of really good info. Everybody piping in and just buzzing about everything there. Number 4 is our Everything Fast Pass subboard. So we've got a new subboard on the theme parks, attractions, and strategies. And a lot of you guys have just gotten right in there and gone to town, and you know just what to do. So this board has been really helpful to sort of have everything about FastPass Plus right there in one spot. So you can look at, how people experience it with big families, small families, little kids, big kids. Sometimes I know it's challenging when you've got a big family get together and, you're trying to get grandma to set up her own My Disney Experience account so you can make her fast passes. People talk about how it's just better to do it yourself, and then grandma just doesn't need to worry about it. So lots of really, really good advice, good information on that subboard. So check it out if you haven't already. Number 3 is the flooded Pirates of the Caribbean boats.
A lot of complaints about this.
So many. Yeah.
Lots of complaints about
annoyed.
this.
Yeah. Well, I have to, yeah.
Well, some my friends from Canada are in town. We're in town this week, and Canadians, God love them, they don't get angry. They're very polite people. She was pissed.
Yeah.
She was pissed.
Yep. Because you're not expecting to get soaked.
Well, first of all, they shoehorned 4 of them into the front of one of those boats, which is absurd. 4 people should not be put in the front of one of those boats under any circumstances, especially not when they know they're having this problem. And they've got to fix this.
It's not just the water coming in that people are upset about. People are saying they're getting in these boats and there's 2, 3, 4 inches of water.
Yeah,
already
exactly,
on the floor,
exactly.
And your feet are wet already.
And this has been going on for months, and Disney hasn't fixed it.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I rode Pirates of the Caribbean right after it opened. We had our Disney Parks Moms Panel reunion weekend right after the attraction reopened, and we kind of knew that the front couple of rows you were going to get really soaked. And so we were planning on asking to sit in the back of the boat, but it just kind of worked out that way that we were in the back of the boat. And when our boat went down the hill, we heard lots of screams and we heard the water hit the benches, and people were not happy. And I almost felt bad that we kind of knew ahead of time to sit toward the back. But, you know, I mean, I'm sure they're not going to leave the front 2 rows empty,
But
but
it's fun to watch those people get wet, isn't it?
no,
You
I
were
was
thinking that, weren't you?
I was so
A little schadenfreude, yeah.
oh my goodness.
I think one of the things is that people don't expect that, and I don't think people take. Somebody in chat made the reference to, I wouldn't think to protect my camera.
Right.
Right.
You know, I don't want to walk around Disney with wet shoes all day, and if you know, if you're going on Cali River Rapids, you kind
You
of expect.
it. Exactly.
Or Splash Mountain. It kind of says Splash Mountain. But if you're going on Pirates, you don't expect to get soaked.
Right, and there are no warnings saying
Right.
you could get wet.
Agreed.
Yeah, they were telling us, we heard the people talking that were soaked, and they said that the wave came right up the top of the front of the boat, and they were drenched.
Oh, that's worse than Splash.
They were really, I mean,
Man, that's
Well, this is because they are using boats that were designed for pirates in
land.
Disneyland.
Correct.
yeah.
These are not the right boats for this ride. And, you know, I don't know how many complaints they're going to have to get, how long people are going to have to complain about it on social media before Disney fixes this. But this is ridiculous. I mean, look, if you're going to bill it as, you know, the new Splash Mountain, fine.
Or
But-
put up a sign that says you will get wet.
You will get wet,
So
not you
people
may.
Can,
Yeah,
people
because
can make that decision.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's too bad.
it is. I wish they'd fix it because people are really upset about it. That's a real long thread already about it. Okay, so number 2 is Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend for 2016 takes place January 6th to the 10th. So if you are planning on being at Walt Disney World for Marathon Weekend, this is a great thread to kind of introduce yourself and meet up with some other runners. And lots of people are doing just one of the marathons. Some of them are doing all of them. Fantastic thread. It's on our wish board is where you can find it. And this one is the main thread on it. We'll have the link in the show notes here so you can go right to it. Lots of info on it, like when people are going to go over to ESPN and get their race packets. People planning meetups at different restaurants after the certain marathons, depending on what day, and really fun way to kind of get to know everybody. And especially if you're running the marathon yourself, it's kind of fun to get to know some people. So give that one a go. And then number 1, finally, for November, is our official Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party 2015 thread, Rocking Around the Cinderella Castle. This one is really fun for everybody that's going to the Christmas party, has been there, is planning on going, talking about all the different things that are going on with the Christmas party, and really fun thread to interact on. And if you're planning on visiting and going to the Christmas party here before the end of the season, then you'll want to hop on that thread and see what's going on there. So really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you for that, Jackie.
absolutely.
And to wrap up our last show for the year, I've asked everybody on the team, or everybody in the room at least, to share with us their favorite moments from 2015. We'll start with you, John.
This was a tough one. This one required a lot of thought. This was a big year for us.
No, you had no favorite moments.
No, I had lots of favorite moments. It was a great year. I mean, going backwards from Disapalooza to our Viking cruise in Disneyland Paris, Alaska, our Disneyland trip for the 60th anniversary, back to our Hawaii trip, our Hawaii cruise. But of all the moments that I think of, I reminisce about the most was on our Alaska cruise, was Tracy and I doing the fundraiser for Give Kids the World. And everybody had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We raised some good money. And it was just
$17,000.
Yeah.
and it was such a great time because the people who were there were so receptive, and it was just a fantastic day. We just had such a great
They
day.
did everything but tap dance and sing.
We did. That's the memory I go back to the most from this past year.
Awesome. How about you, Kevin?
Again, in a year full of a bunch of highs, there's been a bunch of stuff to be reminisce about. I think my favorite thing, and it's because I worked on it for a long time, my favorite thing was the fact that we actually got into the Magic Kingdom on July
Or Disneyland Park?
in Disneyland. What did I say?
Magic Kingdom.
The Magic Kingdom in Disneyland. We got on it on the 60th anniversary. It was touch and go for 2 years. And I had to explain to people why I wanted to be there on that day. And no one believed me until finally someone said, do you know that's the 60th anniversary? And I thought, do you think I've been asking for this for no reason? So even up until the week before, I was begging them not to switch our days.
So from the moment of stepping onto Main Street with cast members lined up and applauding and cheering, it was an incredible day.
It was.
Incredible day.
This is not about patting myself on the back, but it was like we had pushed a boulder uphill and we had finally crested the top.
However, it also paid off. It wasn't like, oh, look, we're just in the park.
Right.
This was an incredible, incredible day. Such a fun day.
I agree. I agree. That's certainly one of my highlights as well.
We got to, and then ABD did amazing things for us. The fact that we got to sit right behind the recipients of the $1 Million Dazzle Award that day, we were right up front.
Right.
So we had a great seat. It was the culmination of a great deal of work and a great deal of self-satisfaction. But to see the look on everybody else's face made it my favorite moment. One of the folks who travel with us broke down in tears, and she touched me. That touched me.
It was bad touch.
Oh my God.
I don't have to show you on the dolls where Mickey touched me. And her name's Mickey. The fact that she was so emotional about it made me emotional about it. You know, it was a highlight.
Certainly was. Certainly was. That was a great trip all around. But that certainly was an amazing day. How about you, Jackie? What's your favorite moment from this last year?
Well, I'm going to have to say that my favorite moment of this year is going to have to be when you invited me to come and join this wonderful team that you've built. And family is really important to me, and I love the feeling that I got when I joined this team, because I instantly felt like I had another family. And so that has been really fun. And I have to say another thing about this past weekend at Disapalooza. It was my first huge event that I've been to that was organized by the Diz. And it was pretty awesome because I was just kind of meandering around, and listeners were coming up to me, and Disboard readers were coming up to me. They recognized me from my profile picture, and they were really excited to meet me, and they gave me lots of compliments, and I was getting lots and lots of hugs. And so it just sort of was the icing on the cake that this is the right family, and it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm pretty excited.
Oh, we're glad you're with us.
Yay. Thank you.
How about you, Julie?
I have a few, but Hershey Park, taking the kids to Hershey was a big thing for me and Corey. We don't really go to the Northeast a whole lot, like for vacation, you know. So going up there, seeing Pennsylvania for the first time, of course the event itself, but Hershey Park was the first park where my kids got to go on a roller coaster that went upside down. Scaredy Rhino.
I know.
Some great pictures. Some great pictures from
Ferris
from
and
that.
Finley got to bond a lot, get to know Rhino, which, of course, they've always loved Craig. But Craig's parents, Miss Chris and Mr. Rick, they have sort of become part of our family now, too, and I think they've adopted my children. But that's okay, because we absolutely adore them. And then for Corey, I'm going to give his, was going to New York. We haven't been on a trip alone in a long time, but we got to go and represent Dreams, which is a lot of fun. We met some really great people, including like some of our listeners who are actual agents, you know, so getting to meet their families and hang out with them was a lot of fun. But I have to say, one of my highlights from the other night, there is another mom who's a listener, and we have been friends on Instagram and Facebook for a long time. But when I saw her, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, Angie. And she's going to be like, oh my God, you said my name. So like, I like ran to her and hugged her. I was like, I'm so excited to meet you. And she just kind of looked at me like, thinking, I guess probably, wait, shouldn't this be the other way around? So it was great to meet you, Angie. So anyway, but yeah, it's been a good year.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Rhino, how about you?
Well, you know, it was a year ago, almost right around this time, that we had our first dinner and we sat down and talked about the Universal show and the potential of coming on here. So it's been a lot. This job in general really pulled me out of just a sad place I was in my life, and so everything
Sanford.
has just been Sanford. Yeah, the streets of OBT. So it's been a lot I mean, I don't know what I expected to happen, but obviously Dick Van Dyke is the highlight of my life. So
Meeting him at D23.
yeah, I see this photo of him hosting that thing, and I'm gonna probably cry while I'm watching Mary Poppins on TV. But I still think about that moment, and it was just an incredible moment. Just that whole weekend, and just being a part of an event like that, but then also having this unexpected meeting of this legendary human being. It was a lot. That, and then I also would say, like, the two meets I got to go to. I loved Hershey Park and bonding with the kids, and I love, seeing Ferris and Finley and giving them a hug and stuff. And it kind of felt like this last weekend for the event, like, seeing these people now for, like, a third time and knowing them and being like, oh, I'm going to go out, and they're kind of friends. They are friends now. And I got to hang out with them a little bit last night, and Craig's parents are just, I don't know how they had Craig, but but they're great. And at Diagon Alley, there was this little girl, Savannah. I don't know how old, maybe 10 years old or something like that, but she was the only one who had her robes and her scarf on, and she specifically came up and asked me to go around with her with the wand and do some magic everywhere. And that receiving line was so long, but I made sure we did it. We didn't get to do it for very long. We did it for like 10 or 15 minutes, but that was a highlight for me too, because I'm just like being me, but with this person from like across the country. And I don't know, it was just one of those moments where it's been a year. It has been an amazing year. So
Okay, we don't want him to cry.
yeah.
Yeah, he's on the verge.
Keep it.
Tell us again about the little girl.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
I was going to cry during
He's getting
Mary
verklempt.
Poppins. I don't think it's a hard
He's all
threshold to
for.
meet.
He's all for
Teresa would have
Glenn.
already been crying.
Oh yeah, Teresa
After
would have
Jackie
been
and then Rhino.
Yeah, I'm representing Teresa right now.
channeling her. All right, thanks, Rhino. Steve.
Yeah, this has been an awesome year. This has been amazing. December of last year was the first time I got an article published, just as a contributor for the first time. So I'll just start off with that being amazing. And March of this year was the first time, probably, I told Pete this yesterday, but probably most people don't know, I was actually on the show as a listener submitting for the voicemail shows 3 times. So March was my first time with my voice in this room, even though I wasn't here.
We remember. We used to call you Steve the Stalker.
Well, there you go.
Among other things.
So that was a highlight. And then obviously being at the table for the first time and meeting everyone and how welcoming everyone was also awesome. So it's an awesome year.
Can I jump back a minute?
Sure.
I ran into some folks at the meet this week, and I think sometimes you become a bit complacent. We've been doing this so long that it's sort of, complacent might not be the same word, right? The right word. I don't know what the right word is. But I met some folks who were at our very first live event ever at the Swan,
Swan's
Yeah.
the
office.
Swan, and I was so proud of myself. I remembered them and I remembered where they were from, so it was great fun. But I think back to that and I think, I can't believe how much we didn't know, and how I remember sitting at one at the Gaylord Palms where we all sat at like a ticket counter, and it was the weirdest thing ever
Oh my
because we
gosh,
couldn't
yes. I was
see each other,
pregnant.
and people leaned on the counter. They were standing
was
up,
weird.
leaning at us, so they were above us, looking down at us while we talked. And I thought, I don't think I want to do this ever again. So this was a culmination, and it shocks me that we've been doing this for 10 years because it feels like it started yesterday.
Yeah.
And it feels like I've been doing it all my life.
Right.
It's sort of a,
But it has been. We're coming up on 10 years doing this.
and you think to yourself,
I'm not 10 years older.
I must have been a baby then, because do you think of all the things we didn't know? I can't.
Right.
It was just, all right, I'm done.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Steve. Craig.
Okay, before I go, I'm going to speak on behalf of Teresa and JL. They didn't actually send like their favorite moments. They sent favorite show moments, which I said they could also do. But instead of reading that, I'm just going to say that they enjoyed going to the meets, as always. I know especially Teresa. She eats that up so much. And, yeah, so that's them.
That's not what
Covering it.
JL's email said.
I'll
So
read
that's
JL's
nothing
email.
what
I'm
they said.
speaking
I
for
know.
Teresa on her behalf. On JL's, well, she's got a lot of stuff, like including whenever I mistakenly said a very bad word on the Universal show.
Oh, so
Not
she
a very
was quite
bad word.
specific about her.
She was. Did you read her
Moments,
email?
no.
Oh
Yeah.
man, she had timestamps.
It was, well, her favorite show moment was the great Doc McStuffins debate a while back, as well as Rhino not being able to understand what a zero entry pool was.
Thought you just couldn't get in it.
I said the name Hooter wrong from Captain EO and replaced it with a very obscene word. And Teresa yelled at me one time on the trip, saying,
Oh yeah.
I'll give you, you want an issue, I'll give you an issue. My husband and I are fighting. And Teresa, she said she liked the show last year whenever we talked about our ideas for WDW resorts and came up with them on our heads, as well as the classic SeaWorld Christmas Shamu hanging from the Christmas tree. So those were all nice moments. I didn't hear from Kathy, so sorry, Kathy.
She hated everything.
Yeah, she.
Freddie had no favorite moments.
She did.
We'll throw her in on the meat stuff too. She'll be fine with that. My favorite moments. There's been a lot this year. The fact is, I'm going out to California for my 4th time this year. The first time was doing our amazing Disneyland 7 and 7, which was like just a huge group of us out there, but it was a ton of work, but a ton of fun the entire time leading into the 60th, the start of the 60th anniversary, and being there with Tom covering all that, and just being blown away to be so blessed to be able to see something like that at the start, as well as then being out there with D23 and spending time for the first time with John and Kevin in California, something that I've never done before, and
And he
how
hopes to
that
never do again.
how that event all
The
came
crisis
together.
counseling is over. He's over it.
It was a crazy week,
a crazy
but
week.
it was so incredible. And then being given the opportunity to go back now in less than like 4 days for my honeymoon and Backstage Magic, and on top of the Central Europe trip that I got to go on and represent Dreams. I've seen so many cool, amazing places this year, and that's a great thing about being a part of this, is you never know what's going to come next. And as much as I love
Well,
the stuff
especially
from
working
last
for me.
year, yeah,
You
I
don't know what I'm going to come up with next.
I'm excited for next year, Podcast Crew 6.0, and everything else that's in store that we don't even know what's happening yet. So
I know Craig's wedding is technically not like to do with the show, but that was a highlight too. I mean, he is a part of our family, so I think his wedding was definitely a highlight.
Like the weird cousin.
apparently you would all rather have my parents here than me, so
We can dream.
thank you.
All right, thank you, Craig. If you want to know what my favorite moments from 2015 were, you're going to have to wait, because that will be the subject of our show on, what is it,
29th.
December 29th. That will be a solo show. It will be an audio-only solo show. We will put it up on YouTube. It will be up on the feed, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite moments from the year. Next week, we're going to have a pre-recorded show that are going to be the top 5, the first 5 favorite moments that you guys voted on, followed by the next week, which will be the next 5 favorite moments you voted on. I'm going to go 10 through 6, and then 5 down to 1, right?
Yep.
And then the following week will be my favorite moments, my most memorable moments of 2015. That'll be coming up on the 29th. And then, of course, we'll be back with you again on January 5th with our next live broadcast. But we will also be going out for this Friday, for Freeform Friday. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today and this year, for allowing us the opportunity to get to do what we do, because without you guys, we got nothing to do. And so you thank us all the time, and don't think I'm not grateful for that, but also don't think I'm not very, very mindful and very grateful that without you, we don't exist. So I want to thank you for your support this year, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time with another edition of the Dis Unplugged. Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a Happy New Year.